All right, Chris, we're in the Smart for Two, otherwise known as the Smart Car.
Absolutely. Good to be here, Zach.
Now, it's an interesting brand because Mercedes Benz is a premium brand, and you have this funky little brand called Smart, and it's very different from the rest of your business, isn't it?
It is. I mean, Smart it's obviously not for everybody. It's two-seater car designed for the city, and it's something that we're proud to have built. It's a segment that we pioneered years ago, and now we're into the third generation of the Smart, and I think we've come leaps and bounds from where we started.
Now, this car, is it longer? It's certainly wider, right?
Yeah, it's about 10 centimeters wider, but it's the exact same width, the exact same length as the outgoing car. So what you're going to get from that is better handling, more dynamic look to the vehicle, and then obviously more room on the inside too.
Now, there were complaints about the previous model, and for me, I'll just say what I like the electric one because the electric one got rid of the quirks of the regular gas one, and that was the herky-jerky sequential gearbox, right? And that's gone now.
It is. The outgoing gearbox was something that we got a lot of feedback from our customers on, and we listened to this. And so with the new generation Smart, we have a choice of a traditional 5-speed manual transmission. And
that's neat. I haven't. Is there one here? I haven't driven it yet.
There is.
Okay,
we do have a couple of them here. It's something that hey, nobody would be happier than me to see a lot of Canadians take the clutch and the shifter, but that's the way the industry has gone these days. So we don't expect.
But the thing is, most manufacturers are getting rid of manuals, and you're bringing one in. That's good, though.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, a manual transmission has a lot of advantages: fuel economy benefits, simple mechanics, lighter.
But how did you talk the Americans into it? Because I know that Mercedes Benz Canada doesn't live in an island. You got to talk the Americans into taking it. Was it hard for them?
Not necessarily hard. I mean, it's a couple of things. One, it gives us a better entry price point into the market, and two, it gives customers choice too. So for those that it is a small percentage, I'm not gonna I'm not telling you anything you don't know, but for that percentage, they're happy to have it. They want that, and we may actually get people into the Smart just because of what you said. There's a lot of companies out there that have moved away completely from manual transmissions. So for those people, we have one available, and it is a great manual transmission. And then for the customers that want an automatic, we have the new Twinamic dual clutch setup. So a 6-speed dual clutch transmission, very similar to what we have on the Mercedes-Benz side in something like the B class of the CLA.
And having driven it today, you have drive, you have sport, which really wakes up the transmission, and then you have manual. And this is a fun little car to drive. But you can, and this one doesn't have paddle shifters, but some do, right?
Yeah, we have a sport package that gives you the bigger 16-inch wheels and the aluminum pedals inside.
See, I would get the paddle shifters because I think that would really make this car a lot of fun. If you didn't get the manual, at least get the paddle shifter.
Yeah, it's a great transmission, the new Twinamic, and the new engine, 900cc 3-cylinder turbocharged engine. So you get 89 horsepower, but more importantly, 100 pounds-feet of torque, and that's only at 2,500 RPM. So that, like you said before, it gets off the line really, really well. Very efficient engine, a lot more powerful than the old car. And you got to remember that we're talking about a Smart car here that weighs in at just around 2,000 pounds too. So 89 horsepower may not sound like a billboard number, but for a car this light, it's fantastic power.
Well, and you also have to remember what's its job. His job is to move you around the city efficiently, but you don't exactly, speaking efficiently, you don't have the official numbers yet as of today for fuel economy.
Yeah, we're still waiting for the final test results to come back. So I don't want to guess. The European results were in the low kind of 5 liter per 100 kilometer an hour range combined. The Canadian test cycle is much different, so I don't even want to try and venture a guess what it's going to be. We feel that it's going to be very similar to what the outgoing Smart achieved, but again, you're talking about a vehicle that has a lot more equipment in it. That's going to give you a lot better performance, and then fuel economy to what Smart owners are used to.
How many of these do you sell in Canada? Because when you take out the car sharing car to go, and they're everywhere in the major urban areas in Canada, are you selling a lot of these to individuals?
We are actually, and over the years, it's a lot of things have changed with the Smart over the years. We've had we started with diesel, we went to gasoline, again,
and that was because of emissions, right? You just simply couldn't get the scrubbing in that engine to keep it in the country, right?
It wouldn't. Yeah, just the same story as always. North American emission standards are just different than European emission standards, and part of that is just a philosophical difference with kind of CO2 versus NOx. But then there's also the U.S. market doesn't love diesels the way the Canadian market does. So with the second generation Smart, when the U.S. market did introduce it, they didn't feel that a diesel engine would be right for their market, understandably. And as a result, the business case for us just became impossible. And the same story is true now for the new generation Smart, again with the U.S. selling it and not having that demand for the diesel engine.
But back to the question, how many of these, like, I see the car to go, I see businesses with like Sally's flower shop down the side or whatever, they're using as a sort of mobile billboard a lot, these cars, but to individuals buying them as personal transportation, are you selling a lot, like thousands a year?
And it has been up to that much. I mean, Smart has always met our expectations in Canada. It depends on what I was alluding to before in terms of the engines that we've went through and changes, the generational shifts and the time period in the life cycle. There's been ups, there's been downs in Smart, but it's always met our expectations for sure. So it's done exactly what we've wanted to since the very beginning, because as you remember way back in the day, we introduced in Canada the Smart to North America. We had it for
it was in the US.
Years before it was in the US market.
Yeah. All right. Now talk about the relationship you have with Renault, because the engine, the transmission, and some other parts of this are developed with them, right?
Yeah, Renault is obviously a global partner of ours, and the Smart, while it is still manufactured at our Hambach plant in France, there was a lot of joint development done with Renault, and we were able to leverage their obvious expertise in small vehicles, and we worked on them very closely with the engine, with the transmission, the manufacturing platform. So again, it was beneficial for both companies, because obviously they benefit from our knowledge, we benefit from their experience.
You see what Sergio is trying to do with Chrysler and General Motors. You need strong partners in order to share the costs.
And that's just it. I mean, we wanted to build the best Smart we could and bring it to the market the best way possible, and that was it's a partnership that made sense, and it's the result is a great car for the Canadian market.
Now, the one thing I have to commend you for, you've got this smartphone cradle that sits just above the radio, and that's the first I've ever seen a manufacturer say, okay, you're going to use your smartphone in the car, let's make a cradle for it. You have an app that you can pair with the car. I contend that most people are just going to put their own phone in there and use the native apps like navigation and phone and all that stuff running through the Bluetooth system. But you're trying to get them to use the simplified app, right?
Yeah, I mean, you said it exactly. Customers, they want to use their own devices, and we're listening to the feedback that our customers give us. And obviously, the lead time and the life cycles and the production generations for cars are a lot different than the consumer electronics industry. So we have it takes a long time to make things happen sometimes, and we really wanted to bring something out like this with the new Smart to let customers integrate their device into the vehicle and, like you said, use it as their screen in the car for their infotainment needs. And to go along with that, we have the Smart Cross Connect app too, which gives you access to the media on your phone, has its own navigation function built in, and a lot of other Smart specific things. But as you said too, customers can still use the apps that they like on their phone too. We just wanted to give customers a Smart specific app for the car, and again, free of charge for all of our Smart drivers too.
So this Smart car is arriving in dealerships on the 18th of September. I remember that day because it's my son's birthday when you mentioned it this morning, so that's good. He's not getting one, by the way. And the pricing has moved up a little bit.
Yeah, the pricing now, we start at $17,300 for the base Pure, and it's there's a lot more standard equipment, a lot of new safety equipment in the vehicle, the new engine, the new transmission, completely redesigned. So the segment is, the concept of the Smart has been proven now. We've been selling it in the Canadian market for years now, and as I said before, that we're to a point now where we're refining it and we're delivering exactly what our customers are telling us they wanted. And they don't want the stripped out kind of bare bones, nothing but wheels and an engine type of thing. They wanted well equipped,
more amenities,
more amenities and things like.
But let's get into the pricing. So you start at like
$17,300,
and then the top model is what?
The top model, we go up.
It's still about 20, right?
Yeah, we have that.
So it's not much of a spread.
No, not a huge spread. No, we start, and the Passion and the Prime. The Prime is the top level trim, and that starts at $20,300, and that gives you a lot of additional equipment in the vehicle. That's going to give you.
So the price range is really, for the base models, $3,000. 17 to 20.
Yeah, for the base model. That's the spread in there. And with and we're happy to have our customers walk up that value ladder. For
But
sure.
you always are competing against somebody who says, okay, I've got $18,000 to spend. I can get a Smart. It's got 2 seats. Sure, we've got all our camera gear. You can see in the back there. That's great. But I can get a 4-door hatchback Kia Rio for the same price. So this is a lifestyle choice.
That's what I was alluding to before. That the concept we've proven that the concept works not for everybody, not for every every place, but in the cities in Canada, people have embraced the Smart, and we wanted to tailor the car and make it right for them. And it's not going to be the cheapest car on the market, and we don't intend to be, and we don't do that on the Mercede Benz side either. So it's we wanted to make sure that we're giving customers the experience that they want. So you're right, you can get a larger vehicle for less money, but we wanted to make sure that we're giving the equipment that we wanted. We wanted to also give it everything we could in terms of the safety pedigree. So bringing things like crosswind assist, the technology that we pioneered on vehicles like the S-Class and the GL on the Mercedes-Benz side, to put that as something that's standard equipment in our most affordable Smart model now too. So we wanted to do things like that and make sure that yes, we may lose a couple of customers who are really looking for kind of the cheapest thing on the market, but at the same time, that's not the strategy we wanted to pursue.
Yeah, it's a different car. I mean, because you have nothing else like this in the market. So if you really want a little 2-seater runabout, because the IQ is gone now, right?
It is.
Yeah. All right, changing gears. Got a comment from one of the viewers of these video blogs saying, I was shopping for a Mercedes CLA, and I can't believe that I can't order the backup camera, because you had it as part of your premium package. Is that right?
We do, yeah. And unfortunately, we have some short-term supply issues sometimes on certain pieces of equipment. So it's certainly not something that we intend to be long-term. It's definitely not something we intend to be permanent. So
because he was saying, I can't believe that I can't get a backup camera because it's going to be legislated, well, at least in the United States in a couple of years. So what's your advice? A guy wants to get a CLA. That's a good thing for Mercedes. He wants the backup camera, not available. The dealer should communicate to him that maybe it's going to be available again. Could he order it in a couple of months?
And that's the thing too. So hopefully, again, the communication is there. It is something that we would hope to have ironed out, and that we would be able to order the customer a vehicle.
But it seems silly to me. You're talking about a Mercedes Benz. You're talking about a little, $5 backup camera.
It's sometimes we're not the only company that gets affected by it. You just have unforeseen short-term supply issues in the chain sometimes, and that's something we're unfortunately dealing with right now.
All right, Chris, thanks for being on. It's good chatting with you again.
Thanks
and
a lot,
good luck
Zach.
with your new Smart.
For sure. Thanks, Zach. It's been a pleasure.